Hey, William from the Zombie Star, and we're still catching up to new releases. So a lot of the stuff has probably already been covered, but this is stuff that we're reading this week. Some issues that I've never even spoken about from issue number one that I'm still reading and just still really enjoying. We got one number one that I'm really excited about. So this is what we've been reading this week. Our number one for this week is Primordial. This is by Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, and Dave Stewart. If you like kind of plays on history and wild conspiracy theories, Primordial is Jeff Lemire is delivering Primordial, coming from titles like Ascender and Maze Book, which we covered in the last video. Jeff Lemire again is just showing kind of he can really construct these really good stories across multiple genres. And while titles like The Department of Truth is like the title for just really exploring every known conspiracy theory, and it's just really brilliant at building this intense drama around it, Primordial is a bit more focused as it addresses the early space launches of the Soviet Union and the United States. Issue 1 introduces Dr. Pembroke, who is given two tasks: to destroy all technology and information regarding the Jupiter space launches and salvage anything useful. What he discovers is some pretty disturbing readings regarding the primates that were used in those test flights, and everything quickly becomes unstable. Issue 1 does start off kind of slow, but this is easily building a very engaging and very suspenseful science fiction drama. Artwork is really great in capturing the look of the 50s, and we got some really cool illustrations of some of those early rockets that were used in these test flights. It is deliberately dark, and really I love how it's using this kind of the shadow work and dim lighting to really create that suspense and that uncertainty that surrounds the main character, Dr. Pembroke. As in most Lemire titles, the artwork is one of the driving factors of the story, and I really love how the color scheme can be completely interrupted, and we can get this kind of like really elaborate spread that is really creating and building some intense moments just in this first issue alone. This is Primordial, issue number 1. This is really cool. Lemire fans, science fiction fans, if you like things like The Department of Truth, this is just another great read and another clear example of why I love reading a lot of Jeff Lemire. Primordial, issue number 1, only cover. Serial, issue number 6. I've been reading Serial since issue number 1, but I think I've only spoken about number 1, and I've been loving this since the beginning. This contains murder, madness, and absolute mayhem, the 3 M's. As it's continuing the story of a very special person, Zoe, who enjoys killing killers, especially ones that murder her best friend. This is one of those kind of mouse and cat and mouse, as police are chasing killers and killers are chasing killers. This is kind of one of those stories that doesn't have any good guys in it, and all the characters are pretty much void of any kind of moral compass, as bloodlust and vengeance is really the only thing that's driving these characters forward, which really allows for some really twisted storytelling. Tyler Moore is pretty graphic in his illustrations, as he really gives us some grisly murders and even some other issues, torture. Despite the fact that it's only black and white, I really love how it does capture the things like the cold gazes of serial killers. And as the kind of cover suggests, that deceptively innocent look of Zoe is really kind of creepy. And Tyler Moore is just really good in capturing that. I'm loving the mood that it sets with this kind of like pencil sketch artwork that is really just void of color. Just very appropriate for this title. Like I've said with like other titles, I don't think this is going to be for everyone, plainly for the graphic nature, the graphic depictions of it. But if you're into like murder mysteries, cop drama, murder mysteries, and suspense, Serial will really be for you. I absolutely love this title. This is absolutely crazy. Serial, issue number 6. This is the only cover we got, and this is really cool. All right. Home, issue number 5. Issue 5 continues the story of Juan, an undocumented boy in the United States trying to reunite with his mother. I've been covering this, I think, since issue number 1, and I've discussed how it's a very bold story that addresses a real-life, ongoing humanitarian crisis at our borders. And the comic is deliberate in depicting some of the horrors that immigrants can and have experienced, either living in the United States as an undocumented person or being subjected to the conditions of processing and detention centers. Author and artist are clear in their view of law enforcement and the manner in which they capture and detain undocumented persons. Learning that Juan has superpowers, as well as his family have superpowers, really doesn't distract from the real life turmoil and the real life desperation that the characters are going through in order to protect one another. As in issue 5, they find themselves on the run and in an all-out fight with law enforcement. The artwork has been really good at capturing the very emotional side of this story in each character. And at the same time, in issue number 5 is now showing off more vibrant and colorful illustrations, given that the characters' superpowers are kind of like on full-on display in issue number 5, which really creates some intense but very exciting moments. This is Home, issue number 5. This is going to be one of those not for everybody kind of titles, as it very boldly, as I mentioned, addresses an ongoing, very sensitive and conflicted humanitarian issue. And for a reader, it's something that you're either going to agree with or you're not. Either way, it is a really cool story about kind of the concept of heroes, morality, superpowers. But besides that, in its core, is really just a very dramatic story of family. Home, issue number 5, we did pick up a variant for this. I am really loving the story, and this cover is absolutely awesome. This is our main character, Juan, showing off one of his many abilities. From issue 1 to where it is now, I really loved how this story has progressed, and can't wait to see where it's going to go from here. This is pretty awesome. Home, issue number 5. And those are just some of the titles that we are reading this week, just some things that I wanted to just get out there as the fight continues to catch up with weekly releases. But that's it for this week in comics. Don't forget to visit us at thezombiestar.com, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.